Over the past week or so, it's been confirmed that previous Doctor Who composer Murray Gold will be returning to the show, alongside a few more filming images from Series 14. But is Murray's return a good idea? Okay, so before I get into the main topic of this podcast, I first want to talk about a couple of other bits of news to do with Doctor Who. The first of which is the alleged Fortnite leaks that have been seen on Twitter, which I guess somebody must have hacked Fortnite or something like that, just to see that there's allegedly going to be a collaboration between Doctor Who and Fortnite, allegedly probably happening some point in November, maybe even earlier. Now, some of you may be thinking, this could just be some fake Photoshops that somebody has made, and I did think that when I first saw it, but the person that's been tweeting about this on Twitter, which is iFireMonkey, they're not a Doctor Who page, they're a Fortnite leaks page. The main thing they talk about is Fortnite leaks, not Doctor Who. So they wouldn't really have much of a reason to fake a Doctor Who specific collaboration. And they probably don't, as far as I'm aware, know that much about Doctor Who themselves personally anyway. They've just found out about this because they look at Fortnite leaks. So that does lend a bit of credence to this idea that this could be legit. But what this seems to cover is there's basically, as far as I can tell, going to be an event that's called Unit Code Red, which allows you to unlock different Doctor Who items that you can use in Fortnite. So I'm going to go over a few of the rewards and stuff that they've talked about on Twitter, but it's going to be very brief. So there's a list of things that you're allegedly going to get with this Unit Code Red event. First one being a Star Cruise glider, which I'm assuming will be Beep the Meep's ship, the Star Cruiser. I'm assuming that's Beep the Meep's ship. A wrap and loading screen that haven't been found or announced or whatever yet. A TARDIS emoticon, 3D glasses spray, which makes sense because of the 10th Doctor's 3D glasses. A banner, another one that just says an emote. I think it might be the Sonic Screwdriver emote, actually. I think I've seen a picture of that. One back bling, which is a backpack that you, in Fortnite, back bling is a backpack. I'm not sure if we know what the back bling is for this particular event. I can see something here that looks like the things that they use to travel between the parallel worlds in Doomsday. So maybe that's the back bling. I can see that in here. I think that's what that's meant to be anyway. So maybe that's what the back bling is. There's also another one showing an image of a Beep the Meep spray, which looks really cool. And in terms of the outfits or skins that you can get, it's obviously going to be the 14th and 15th Doctor. So David Tennant and Ncuti Gatwa's Doctors. There's another one that also says the glider is going to be the TARDIS. And I've seen some people speculating that you're going to hang on to the TARDIS kind of like in the opening of Day of the Doctor, which I think is a really cool idea. There's going to be a psychic paper emote, and the pickaxes allegedly are going to be the Sonic staff, which I think I've seen an image of somewhere, but I haven't got that one up on here, which is basically just seems to be the Sonic Screwdriver that David Tennant's been using in the 60th anniversary set pictures, but they've elongated it to work as a pickaxe. And there's also going to be the Dalek manipulator arm, so the Dalek plunger as another pickaxe. There might be a few other things that I've missed, because I know there's another image that shows those pickaxes and other things. But the last thing with this that I want to talk about is that there's a script which I think is meant to be for a trailer that people think is going to be airing via this Fortnite event, which seemingly refers to the 14th Doctor at least as the Edge Doctor, or it refers to somebody in it as the Edge Doctor, and people are assuming that this must be the 14th Doctor. So this does actually have, it tells us something possibly about the 60th anniversary special itself, and that the Edge might have something to do with the 60th anniversary specials, which I first thought when people were thinking about this way back when we saw the brief shot of Ncuti in the trailer. I thought it was very unlikely that we'd get the Edge, because Russell is writing these episodes, and the Edge was featured in Power of the Doctor, which is a Chibnall episode, and Russell, as far as we know, is probably writing the episodes when Power of the Doctor hadn't come out yet, but he had seen Power of the Doctor early, so it is possible that maybe he'd already been writing it or coming up with some ideas. He saw Power of the Doctor and he thought, okay, I can implement this in some way, maybe as a way to explain why David Tennant's back. So it's not completely out of the realm of possibility that he hasn't taken a little bit of inspiration from Power of the Doctor, but it is interesting that we'll be seeing the Edge again so soon, although I guess it makes sense with the whole thing being about, the regeneration going wrong. So if this is real, which I'd like to believe most of this is real, considering this guy is not a Doctor Who guy, then that's really cool to find out. And, the 14th Doctor may also be referred to as the Edge Doctor. Okay, so the next bit of news that I want to talk about before getting into the Murray Gold stuff is about Jinkx Monsoon's character being announced and the costume reveal with that. So obviously, at first, she was announced to be playing a villain with just a generic photo shoot of her in just one of her normal drag outfits, I assume. But not long after that, we got another image, another photo shoot with her, which had a couple of images in it of her in her villain outfit just before she went on to do a bit of filming for Series 14. And this villain outfit seemed to have, it seems to be based on like a piano, like there's piano keys on like the lapels or the collar or whatever. And so this has led some people to believe that they might be doing a musical episode for Series 14, which I'm going to get more into later on. But for now, I just want to talk about what people have been speculating about this character specifically rather than the episode. Because I've seen some people speculating that this could be the same character that Neil Patrick Harris is playing in the 60th anniversary specials. And I think people are thinking that either Jinkx Monsoon could also be like the Celestial Toymaker, which they think Neil Patrick Harris is, or maybe they're just thinking that they're the same character, but it's like maybe just some other Time Lord that isn't the Celestial Toymaker or something like that. And I think this might be because of the musical elements and because we've seen Neil Patrick Harris's character dancing and singing on set with David Tennant. And there is also a shot in the trailer where he's like throwing the petals that does look like it could be from like a bit of a singing and dancing number in the 60th anniversary. So it does seem like Neil Patrick Harris could possibly be like singing and dancing as well. So I think that's led some people to believe that this could be the same character, which like I definitely think it's a possibility. But I personally do hope it's a different character. Or at least if it is the same character, I do hope it's like a new character instead of the Celestial Toymaker. Because I like the idea of the Celestial Toymaker being in the 60th anniversary specials because, you know, it's an anniversary special, so it's perfectly fine for old characters, especially some classic characters that we've not seen in the new series to show up. But I don't want that character to then immediately return in the next series as well, unless maybe they are trying to have them as like a new replacement for the Master where they're like the recurring villain that shows up all the time. But I just personally want this character to also be somebody new. And sure, maybe like the Celestial Toymaker does do a little bit of a singing and dancing number or whatever in the 60th anniversary specials, but not much. And then this character could actually be specifically focused on like music and turning things into a musical, making like forcing the characters to sing and dance outside of their control or something. Whereas Neil Patrick Harris just might do a little bit of singing and dancing for fun or something like that as the Celestial Toymaker or whatever character they're playing. Because I personally want more new characters instead of just bringing back the same characters immediately after they've just been in an episode. So getting on to more of the stuff about the musical, the possible musical episode with Jinkx Monsoon, we've seen some more images from filming, some official images this time, of the 14th Doctor and Millie Gibson's Ruby Sunday in some 60s outfits. Now, first, some people had just spotted them on set and taken a few pictures of them on their phones or whatever, but not long after that, we got some official looks at that. And so, interestingly, the Doctor is in this 60s outfit that looks very different, especially in terms of colours, because there's no, like, orange in there, to their normal Doctor outfits that we've seen, which I'm going to talk about later on as well. And most interestingly, he also has a bit of an afro, which at this moment in time, we're unsure as to how he actually is going to get that. But I do have a theory on that personally. Now, some people have speculated that this could be that they get trapped in the 60s and they've lived there for a long time, so his hair just naturally grows out. I think that's a possibility, but I don't personally think that's the case. And as well, some people have speculated that maybe it's a wig. Like, obviously, it's probably a wig in real life, but some people have speculated in the show, like, the actual reason for it is the Doctor just puts a wig on. Which, again, that could also be the case, but that's not personally what I think it is. I think this could feed into the theory that this is a musical episode where Jinkx Monsoon's character has the power to force characters to like sing and dance outside of their control, and that maybe they're able to like alter the clothing or perception, maybe even the location of these characters. So maybe Jinkx Monsoon's character has trapped them in the 60s and changed their appearance and is forcing them to do things outside of the control, including singing and dancing. And Ruby and the Doctor have got to figure out why this is happening to them and who's doing it to them and find Jinkx Monsoon's character, which I think would be a really cool idea. But, you know, there's also always the possibility that maybe the Doctor has another sort of regeneration ability that we don't know of, where he's able to just force his hair to grow out a bit or something. There's also apparently been a piano that's been on set with this, where they think there's going to be like a piano drop scene or something like that. And I think there's a body double for Millie Gibson who plays the piano. So maybe Millie Gibson knows how to play the piano, and that somehow factors into this. But some people have also speculated that it is meant to be also Jinkx Monsoon's piano double, but I'm pretty sure it said it was Millie Gibson's on like a sign on a trailer or something like that. So yeah, it does seem very possible that we might be getting a musical episode. And, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of musicals in general, but I think I like when episodes do something different, and especially with this season, it seems like it's going to be very campy again, especially with, you know, Jinkx Monsoon's costume and all that. And so I'm excited to see what it's like. You know, I'm not against the idea. I think it'll be very interesting to see, even if it's just a bit of an interesting, you know, experiment that they never do again. Okay, we've also seen some more filming for what seems to be the Christmas special that had been filming at the start of this year. So at the start of this year, we'd seen Millie Gibson filming in, I believe it was in Bristol, on a street, and we'd seen the scene where she comes across the TARDIS for the first time and stuff like that. But at that point, I think Ncuti Gatwa was filming Sex Education, so he wasn't there at that time. So they seem to have gone back to that street in Bristol, done it up to look like Christmas again, and are filming Ncuti's bits over there. So because of this, we've got a better look at the costume that we'd seen Ncuti in the graveyard for the Christmas filming earlier on in this year, which is something I'm going to get into in a little bit. But we also seem to have got a look at Ncuti using the sonic screwdriver. We haven't necessarily seemed to have got a look at the actual sonic screwdriver himself. We've just seen a video of him like pointing the sonic screwdriver at a door to open it. But there has been another photo of Ncuti holding something in his hand, which it doesn't look like a sonic screwdriver. So it looks like it's probably just like another device, like what the 10th Doctor used to do all the time, where he made devices to like scan things, or it's like an alien device for something for the episode or something like that. But it is also possible, even though it looks very different to a sonic screwdriver, that this could be the sonic screwdriver and it's just had quite a drastic redesign, which I'm excited to see if that is the case. But like I said, it's probably not the sonic screwdriver because it doesn't really look like one, but who knows, it could absolutely be that. Okay, so like I also said, we got a better look at the costume, which is the one with like the orange and purple kind of shirt that he has, and the blue trousers, the cool trainers, and the long leather brown jacket, which for me personally is definitely my favourite Ncuti Gatwa 15th Doctor. I might have been calling him the 14th Doctor earlier on in this video. Hopefully I haven't done that. Of the 14th Doctor and Millie Gibson's Ruby Sunday 15th Doctor costume, and honestly it might be one of my favourite Doctor Who costumes, possibly the best one that I've seen ever. So I hope that he wears this most out of all the costumes, which it seems like he might be because it's one of the ones we've seen him filming in the most. But obviously this isn't the one they officially announced his costume reveal in, and it does seem like he's wearing quite a vast range of costumes throughout this first series, because we've seen this one, we've seen the officially revealed one, although we haven't really seen him filming in that one. We've just had the picture of him in it. We've obviously seen the 60s one, although I assume that's going to be a bit of a one-off. But we've also seen barely a very, very, very blurry and pixelated picture of him on some cliffs at some point, where he's got like this red or like burgundy kind of beanie on and a long orange coat on that almost seems a bit like a raincoat, and that one looks really cool. And I hope we get some more high definition, maybe even official pictures of that one soon, because we really couldn't make it out completely. But yeah, this one that he's been filming the Christmas special in definitely looks like my favorite one so far, and it seems like because it's the Christmas special, it's probably going to be his first main costume. But he does look like he's going to get a lot of costume changes, at least just in this very first series as well. But maybe this is just what the 15th Doctor's going to be like in terms of costumes for his whole era. He's just going to kind of have a Peter Capaldi approach to it, where he has different costumes every episode, which I think would be very cool. Now, there is a few other things that have come up about Series 14 recently. Some stuff with like concept art that I'm not going to show here just in case, you know, they want me to take it down or something like that. But I am planning on doing an updated version of the Everything We Know About Series 14 video soon, because I've done one video about that so far and it's very outdated now. It was before we even knew Millie Gibson was going to be the companion, and we was thinking, I think it's Rose Ayling Ellis, we was thinking she was going to be the companion. So I do need to do an updated version of that to talk about a lot of things that I've not really mentioned yet, like the stuff with Roger Ap Gwilliam and all that stuff. I haven't made a video about any of that yet, so I will be working on one of those in the next couple of weeks or month or so So look out for that and subscribe if you're not already so that you don't miss that. And I will also be doing an updated version of the 60th anniversary or 2023 specials at some point as well. Okay, so in case you've been living under a rock, we've also had the big news in the past week that Murray Gold, the former composer for Doctor Who from the first RTD era and the Moffat era of the show, will apparently be returning for RTD2.
We are recording music with the National Orchestra of Wales for Doctor Who 2023, or RTD2. I'm Murray Gold, and I'm the composer on Doctor Who.
And honestly, like a lot of people, I've got mixed feelings on this. I love Murray Gold's music. I get that obviously I Am the Doctor started to get overused at a certain point, but I don't think that was down to him. I think that was more of an editing choice, or, you know, the producers were saying, you know, they knew it was very popular and they wanted it in there more. So I don't blame him for that. But besides that, I do love Murray Gold's music. I think it is great. I'm not saying I don't like Sagan Akinola's music. I know I'm repeating a lot of things that everybody else has said on this so far, but Sagan's music was very different, and it was more like ambient music, which I know I've heard a lot of people saying, and I think that does work really well. So I like them both for different reasons, but there's lots of Murray Gold tracks that I actually like know and really like because they're actually like properly in your face and really bombastic, which isn't necessarily the best way that you're meant to kind of compose music for a show, but I can't help but love those tracks. And so I'm very excited for him to return personally, especially for the 60th, which makes sense because obviously Donna's coming back, and so we'll hear more of Donna's theme. And obviously with David Tennant coming back, we might get like a bit of a similar version of the 10th Doctor's theme for the 14th Doctor's theme, if that kind of makes sense. And obviously we might get a new version, well, we will get a new version of the opening titles theme, which, you know, with it being the 60th and it being David Tennant and Catherine Tate, maybe it'll be similar to that of the first RTD era theme, just for the 60th, or something like that. And we've got a quote from Doctor Who magazine where Murray was asked, now that David Tennant and Catherine Tate are reprising their magical double acts, can we expect some musical callbacks? To which Murray said, it's inevitable that you're going to get the odd reminiscence. For example, there's a little bit of Donna's theme as soon as we hear her. There's a bit of the Doctor's theme in there too, but they're not old recordings. All the music that I've done so far is brand new, even when it's evoking an older theme. Then I think for Shooty, it's important that the music feels brand new, which I think just sounds really good. Obviously, it makes sense to have a bit of a reprise of those themes that we heard during that era, with it being the same characters coming back or the same actors from that era. And that'll be really exciting, especially considering they're not just going to obviously put the exact same song in there. He's going to do like a bit of new version for each of those themes. And I think that makes perfect sense for an anniversary special that's celebrating the past and these characters. But in that, he obviously also stated that he's going to be doing music for Series 14, and this is also being confirmed by Russell T Davies on Instagram, where he seems to confirm that Murray Gold will also be doing the music for Series 14, which is the aspect that I'm a bit mixed on. Like I said, it obviously makes sense for the 60th. It's an anniversary, it's celebrating the past. Of course, get Murray Gold back for it. It just makes sense. But I do feel like it's a little bit unfortunate that we're not going to get to hear music from someone new for Series 14 and beyond. We are definitely getting a lot of new talent for Series 14. You know, the casting's all new. We've got like mostly all new directors. There's probably going to be some new writers in there, hopefully, alongside Russell T Davies. And so there's absolutely some new stuff going on in the RTD2 era. But I think hiring a new composer would have made the intent to try and make something new and move forward even more obvious. And so just going back and hiring Murray Gold again for Series 14, it's a bit of an odd choice in my opinion. And it makes me worry even more that this second era isn't going to be as different as we might want it to be and as I hope it would be. And it does make me worry that we might be treading a bit too much old ground again, which I really hope isn't the case. I really just hope they haven't come back just to do basically the exact same thing again. And I think Council of Geeks, in their new video about this, I think they put it really well as well.
And again, it's possible, and I'm going to hold on to that hope, but that's the thing. It's now a hope. It was faith. I had faith he wasn't going to just try and recapture and redo the same thing. I don't have faith anymore. I have hope, but that's a lot more fragile.
So I really hope that I am wrong with this. You know, he did say in that quote about Shooty that he is going to do something new for that. And if you listen to his music in other shows that he's worked on since, even with Russell, you know, they are very different and he does know how to do something differently. So it's absolutely possible he could still make something that sounds new and doesn't just sound like the first RTD era. But I just personally think it would have been really nice to give that role to somebody new. And that would have just been, you know, the job of a lifetime for whoever would have got that. So it does just seem weird that after, you know, the Chibnall era, we have literally gone back to almost the exact same team for the RTD2 era, besides the cast and the directors and possibly some new writers that might come on board. But at the same time, maybe we will end up having the perfect mix of new and old people on the crew. I just think the composer would have been a nice one to give to somebody new. But there is a positive thing that might come out of the fact that Murray Gold is returning, as quite infamously, the soundtrack for Series 10, which was by Murray Gold, still has yet to be released, even though it was from like 2017 or something like that. But since Sega Akinola came on board, that soundtrack has never been released. And so with Murray Gold returning, a lot of people were excited as they thought this might be the time that we finally get the Series 10 soundtrack, which at this point has been like a bit of a joke that it hasn't released. Like, people have made a lot of jokes about it, and there's even like whole Twitter accounts about it and stuff. But with this newest issue of Doctor Who magazine, Murray Gold was asked about the Series 10 soundtrack and if it will be released. And in this interview, he has confirmed that he will make sure the Series 10 album does get released. He hasn't said exactly when or that he's been told that he can do it or anything yet. He just said that he is going to try and make sure that that does happen. So there is some good news to come out of this. And like I said, I am excited for him to return. So this isn't the only good news. I'm very excited to hear some more new music from him, a new version of the theme, some new versions of older themes like the Donna's theme in the 60th. And like I said, I do think it is a perfect idea to bring him back for the 60th anniversary. I just do think it would have been really nice to have somebody new for Series 14. But let me know what you think. Are you glad that he's come back in general? Do you think we should have had somebody new, or do you think we should have had somebody new at least for Series 14 like I do? And what are you most excited to see from Murray Gold? Is it these new versions of old themes, or is it specifically the Series 10 soundtrack?